Good morning, everyone. It is the most common form of dementia. Alzheimer's affects 55 million people around the world. Advocates continue to work to shine a light on the illness. And this year, there's a new hope that seems just out of reach for most. Here's Courtney Ann Jackson.
We want access. When do we want it? Now.
Access to Alzheimer's treatment. There's a long-awaited treatment option approved by the FDA, but that's where things are stalled out.
It is the only drug class ever that's got FDA approval that the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services refuses to pay for.
The FDA gave the drug accelerated approval. CMS is now saying it will grant access if it gets traditional approval. But even then, that could come with restrictions.
It's far past time that this discrimination against people with Alzheimer's end.
You may have cared for a loved one dealing with the disease, and these advocates say the drug shown to delay the advance of the disease amounts to time.
I think of my mother and my grandmother who I lost to this disease, and what an extra year with their grandchildren would have meant not only to her, but to those grandchildren for the rest of their lives.
Today is personal for me because I lost both my parents to Alzheimer's and dementia. When my parents passed away, my kids were younger, so they weren't able to really get to know their grandparents. And grandparents are so important to children.
Without coverage, the cost becomes a barrier.
This drug costs about $22,000 a year.
Some who have a family history are left wondering if they'll need the treatment that wasn't available to their parents.
It is really, truly shocking to me that we do have a drug that is available, and it's so expensive that we're not going to be able to afford it.
Now they're hoping their calls to action will be heard by the government officials they say are standing in the way of access. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The Alzheimer's Association estimates that every day that the CMS policy is in place, more than 2,000 people ages 65 or older may transition from mild dementia to a more advanced stage of Alzheimer's. And at that point, they no longer be eligible for the new FDA-approved treatments. So the month of June is Cataract Awareness Month. It's an eye condition that is America's leading cause of vision loss. The good news is it can be treated with surgery. Riley Carlson introduces us to a man who's giving thousands of people their sight back.
High in this Himalayan valley, in a makeshift clinic, dozens of people are lining up outside for their chance to see again. All of these patients have cataracts, a condition that causes the lens of the eye to slowly cloud over, blurring vision before leading to blindness. They're here for surgery to replace their cloudy lens with a clear artificial lens.
They need help, really. You can see how eye care is so difficult and how healthcare would be difficult, how education would be difficult.
Dr. Sanduk Ruit is running this clinic in South Asia. He's performed more than 130,000 operations. A tech multimillionaire is funding the surgeries as a way of giving back after spending time in jail for mail fraud.
I think it's a crime for some people like us not to do more.
In the U.S., the CDC estimates 20 million Americans older than 40 have cataract in one or both eyes. By age 65, more than 90% of people in the U.S. will develop cataracts. Dr. Ruit checks the results once his surgeries are done.
I'm very happy.
He says restoring people's sight never gets old.
It really energizes me and recharges my battery.
The pair has now set a lofty goal: 500,000 more surgeries in 5 years. Riley Carlson, CBS News, London.
Cataracts are more prevalent in Nepal than almost anywhere else on Earth. Well, millions of Americans suffer from chronic pain. It can have a huge impact on quality of life, careers, even your mental health. Mandy Gaither has more with a chiropractor on 3 simple ways to ease the aches and pain.
From exercising to sitting at a desk for long periods or just carrying around tension and stress, our bodies bear the brunt of everything we do.
I've just noticed that there's a way increased amount of just normal aches and pains.
Cleveland Clinic chiropractor Andrew Bang says there are 3 simple ways to ease common aches and pains. First, try heat.
You can use a heating pad. You can use those rice socks to heat up in the microwave.
Second, gently stretch muscles that get tight. He says to start with a long stretch, holding it for 1 minute, then ease yourself into 2-minute stretches on each tight muscle group.
Lots of us fall into that stretching for 5 to 10 seconds, thinking that's sufficient. It feels good, but it's not enough time on the muscle to get it to relax completely.
Bang says people who are sedentary may have muscles that are too loose.
As you're sitting, you're actually stretching some muscles like your glutes, your buttocks, and oftentimes you're stretching your low back muscles too much, and even your neck as you stoop forward to look down at your keyboard, papers, and your computer screen.
To tighten muscles, Bang says his third tip is to do isometric exercises.
That's essentially squeezing a muscle tight together, and that will shunt blood through the area. It will cause metabolites that build up inside. Those chemicals that cause pain inside the muscle groups. Kind of force them out as you squeeze.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And Bang says the more people sit, the more they complain of soreness. To prevent pain, he says to keep moving. For example, at work, take breaks from sitting, consider standing or walking around. And he says if you never allow yourself to be stuck in one position for too long, it will help you avoid getting sore. So with long, hot days, it's important to remember to protect your skin from the sun's damaging rays. Nikki Batiste shows us how to choose the best protection.
With countless sunscreens on the market, trying to choose which is the most safe and effective can be overwhelming.
I tell people to protect their skin every single day with a broad spectrum sunscreen, SPF 30 or higher.
Dr. Elizabeth Hale says broad spectrum protects from both UVA and UVB rays.
What's the difference between UVA and UVB?
That SPF number, that refers to a product's ability to block UVB, which are shorter wavelength, and those are the rays that cause sunburn. But every single day, ultraviolet A rays, or UVA, those are longer wavelength. Those penetrate every day, year-round, even through windows, through clouds, even in the middle of winter. They can contribute to skin cancer and otherwise aging of the skin.
There are two basic types of sunscreen, chemical and mineral. Mineral sunscreens are physical. They work like a shield, sitting on the surface of your skin and deflecting the sun's rays. The main ingredients are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, minerals that are classified as safe and effective by the FDA. If you plan to swim or sweat, you may want a chemical sunscreen. It works like a sponge, absorbing the sun's rays. Although those chemicals can be detected in the blood weeks after they were used, some doctors say that does not mean they are dangerous. The FDA says more studies need to be done.
We recommend that consumers avoid products using oxybenzone, but use is associated with potential impact on our endocrine system and development.
To prevent skin cancer, Dr. Hale says it's important to wear sunscreen every day and to get your skin checked once a year. If you're worried about sunscreen chemicals, try a children's product. They tend to have fewer and are just as effective. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
Hand-me-downs may change everything for a Mississippi police department. We'll show you why ahead on Mid-Morning. Back, there is a new relationship between a California beach town and the police department in Pickens, Mississippi. Rena Nakano reports from Manhattan Beach, California on how the two towns connected.
This is not a goodbye, more like see you later.
Thank you for a long, well-loved life.
5 decommissioned Manhattan Beach police vehicles are headed to a new home in the town of Pickens, Mississippi.
Our county is one of the poorest counties in the nation.
With a population of 1,300 and a median income of around 20,000, resources are hard to come by. So when Mayor Paulette Moore attended the mayor's conference in Washington, D.C. this January, she hustled, looking for colleagues who could donate anything and everything to her town.
And she was the first one to approach me and say, Mayor, I heard you talk about you're buying 5 new vehicles for police department. She asked me if I would mind selling vehicles to her.
It worked. The Manhattan Beach City Council voted 5-0 to sell 5 vehicles for $1 apiece to the Pickens Police Department, where 6 officers currently share 1 vehicle.
This is one of our larger cars. Nice.
Manhattan Beach Police Department left all the high-end accessories in the 5 cars, only taking out the locally encrypted radios. And to send the vehicles, the city recruited local companies with ties to Mississippi. Chevron, which has a refinery in Pascagoula, immediately jumped on board.
Skechers was the other one. And I was so excited to hear about that, I had to put my Skechers on today.
Both mayors say this gift has launched a very special relationship between the two cities, something they hope lasts forever.
My next decision will be to make that a sister city.
A sister city relationship where those who have and have an abundantly can give to those who don't have.
In Manhattan Beach, I'm Rena Nakano, KCAL News.
And Mayor Moore said that they don't have much, but they do have excellent hospitality. So in return, they will throw down a mean barbecue meal for the Manhattan Beach staff when they visit. Very cool story. All right, virtual reality could soon feel a lot more real. The VR bodysuit is in the works that adds the sense of touch to the experience, but it's not just for fun. It could also serve those with limited mobility. Christian Benavidez has more on that.
Exploring virtual reality may soon include suiting up. This full VR bodysuit comes complete with soft robotic muscles, meaning you'll be able to feel what you see.
So something that we integrated is that you can let a bird land on your hand and feel it because the muscles are contracting on the suit.
The so-called MetaSuit is the creation of students at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. Its purpose, to create a natural feeling for users in order to interact with VR environments like the metaverse.
You're in an entirely other environment. You could be on Mars and you feel something and it feels real.
The artificial muscles, called hazels, are actually pouches filled with a special fluid that can expand or contract with a tiny electric current.
These hazels are quite similar to human muscle. And this is also a reason why we use them, because to have a natural feeling when using Hazel's muscles on the suit.
Developers say in addition to VR, the technology could allow film directors to better map an actor's movement or even help someone suffering from Parkinson's keep walking.
Okay, that Saturn is way too big. Needs to come back down, please.
And with VR technology already being used in some classrooms, this bodysuit could make those lessons even more immersive. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
All right, when we come back, you may be familiar with offshore drilling, but this ship will service a completely different kind of energy. That story is just ahead. Welcome back. A massive new wind farm is being built off the east coast of the U.S. near Martha's Vineyard. It's one of many new offshore wind projects approved by the Biden administration to create more renewable energy to fight climate change. Ben Tracy takes us to the Gulf Coast to see a ship that will play a key role in that industry.
This thing is so huge.
Yeah, she's huge. 260 feet long.
At this shipyard just outside New Orleans, you need to step way back to fully appreciate the scale of what they're building. This army of 400 workers is doing its part to help spark an energy revolution.
Well, and that noise we're hearing, that's what's called Made in America.
That's made in America, no doubt.
Wally Naquin is general manager of Houma, Louisiana's La Ship. He took us from the bow to the bowels of this massive vessel. It's the first in the country built to service the U.S. offshore wind industry. In the coming years, hundreds of towering turbines will be installed in the waters off the East Coast. Each will need regular maintenance lasting 3 to 4 days every year.
They'll change their clothes in here. There'll be a bunch of showers.
They each get their own room and bathroom.
Each person gets a window.
And there will also be a gym, fireplace lounges, and a gaming room, a level of luxury that surprised this former Marine.
Did you ever have accommodations like that?
No, we slept 4 people in less than 6 feet.
Like its older cousin already in service in Europe, this new state-of-the-art ship will essentially be a floating hotel for 60 technicians who will spend weeks at sea. They will use an innovative bridge system attached to a 110-foot tower to walk directly from the boat to the wind turbines, some of which are more than twice as tall as the Statue of Liberty.
So they call it walk to work?
Walk to work platform. The boat will be rocking with it, whatever sea condition it is. and the platform keeps them safe.
3,400 tons of American steel are being used to build the ship for Danish wind power giant Ørsted. It will go into service next summer at the wind farm Ørsted is building off the coast of New York, bringing workers to test electrical and fire suppression systems and inspect for wear and tear.
This is offshore wind in this country right now.
Yeah, you could say that.
In 2021, Ørsted's North American CEO, David Hardy, took us to see the largest offshore wind farm in the U.S. It's just 5 turbines near Rhode Island. Right now, the U.S. produces a paltry 42 megawatts of offshore wind power. But the Biden administration is aiming for 30,000 megawatts by 2030, enough to power more than 10 million homes. The White House expects the industry to create 77,000 jobs.
This is a proof point to America that the offshore wind industry will bring jobs across the country.
Liz Burdock runs a nonprofit that advocates for offshore wind in America. She says renewable energy jobs are revitalizing shipyards impacted by the decline of the offshore oil industry. The demand for new ships could last for decades.
So this is so much bigger than even this very big ship.
Yes. Right now, we have 33 vessels under construction in the U.S. to support the offshore wind sector. We need 50 to 60 more.
It's renewed Southeast Louisiana that we keeping people working.
Wally Naquin says a few years ago, he was down to less than 100 workers. Now he has more than 600. They've also started work on a second offshore wind ship.
We were built on the oil and gas industry, so now the wind industry is bringing us back to life. It's pretty amazing.
And at the end of the day, people just want a job.
Really, that's it. Want to work, feed their families, and get back to life.
And now the winds of change are blowing their way.
Ben Tracy, CBS News.
In Houma, Louisiana.
It's the end of an era in Hollywood City, but you can still be the next contestant on The Price is Right. Good morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Twins make up about 3% of the U.S. population, but for one high school graduating class in New Jersey, the rate of seeing double is more than doubled. Take a look.
Meet Justin and Roman, Dan and Nico, John Juliana, Ryan, Robert, Tommy and Isabel, Andre and Gabe, Kyle and Anthony, Tommy and Sarah. 8 of 11 sets of fraternal twins all started at Northern Highlands Regional High School together, just learning of the multiple twin factor.
My teacher said, there's a lot of twins in the grade, why don't we do a spreadsheet on them? So I had to nag everybody.
It's neat. I think that's the best way to put it. It's like, oh, cool, fun fact.
We all came from different towns, so we didn't realize when we were younger, like there are 3 sets in Allendale.
Each set going to school together all their lives, most going in different directions for college. Sad about it?
Absolutely not. He's going Fairfield, I'm going to Miami.
We shared a room for a long time. It was horrible.
It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's really going to be tough.
Because they just love each other so
Yeah,
much.
we love each other
They don't
so
fight all
much.
the time or anything like that.
Okay, now is he telling the truth?
No. No. No, I'll miss him.
I think we're very different people, even though we're still best friends. We'll be okay, and we're only 4 hours away from each other.
Yeah, so we can like take a train. I mean, will I miss him? Miss is a strong word.
Justin and Roman, the only ones headed off together.
The University of Florida, it's big enough to where we can have our own like separate lives.
But now that we have different roommates, we're going to branch out and meet other people.
Andre and Gabe missing the helping hand.
Unfortunately, I wanted him to help me with my homework or any of the tests. I usually go to him, but it's all good. He helps me with other stuff, like picking up my clothes or something like that, and I help him with like homework and stuff.
Ryan and Robert, different schools, same major.
We're going to be in the pre-dental track, so we'll see where that takes us. Hopefully, we'll run a practice one day together.
Yeah. Principal Joe Ochino says they're all great kids.
They're just outstanding students. They're confident. They help each other. Highly academic.
But they missed the twins graduating together record at Northern Highlands by 5. The class of 2021, 16 sets of twins.
Pretty amazing, actually.
He had to say so long to this crew. Tomorrow evening, they graduate.
It's pretty amazing. The Price is Right is getting ready to come on down to a new studio next season. Monday, after 51 years of spinning the big wheel in Television City Hollywood, the legendary game show will say goodbye to the historic Bob Barker Studio 33 with a special tribute in its season finale.
Come on down to The Price is Right here at Television City for the very last time.
We're about to film the very last episode of The Price is Right at the Bob Barker Studio at Television City in California. We've been here for 51 years in this historic stage. I used to tell people there was magic in the wood here because of all the good vibes that have been in this studio, you know, all the laughs and all the fun that have been here. Now we got to go and start a new place and put our own good vibes into that new place.
$87,000! You gotta
It means the world to me. I mean, this is my second family. We love it here. We sincerely love it. And what's not to love?
To witness best day of people's lives.
In this final episode, we're going to do all sorts of things to tip our hat to this amazing stage.
That'll put a dent in some bills, 33 grand. I am blessed by being able to walk the same stage that people like Bob Barker and Carol Burnett used to walk on. Honestly, it's a real blessing in my life. Like, I always am grateful and thankful that I have this opportunity to have a job like this. Next season, we're going to be at an all-new studio in Glendale, California, everybody. People need a break in their day and they need something familiar. So this is our service to everybody by having an enjoyable hour they can watch with their whole family. It's a responsibility, but I think of it more as a blessing than anything else. And it's just the best feeling in the world.
Let's get this show started with the first prize up for bids today on The Price is Right.
Everybody, all 350 million of you should tune in because it's the last show on the stage. That's why it's going to be historic.
Don't miss the 51st season finale of The Price is Right, paying tribute to the historic Studio 33 this Monday, June 26th at 10 a.m. right here on WCBI. And we'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email or contact us on social media. We'll see you next time.